Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Marketing the Invisible. I'm Tom Poland, beaming out to you from the Sunshine Coast in Australia, joined today by Melissa Kwan. Melissa, g'day from down under. Where are you hanging out?
I'm currently in Amsterdam.
In Amsterdam, the Netherlands. So we're at opposite ends of the world, and it's last night where you are, and it's tomorrow morning where I am. So try and get your head around that. Folks, Melissa is the co-founder and CEO of eWebinar, and I reached out to Melissa. She didn't request this interview. I requested it because I stumbled across eWebinar, and it's the first time I've gotten excited about a webinar platform, I think, since 2008. As you know, I do a few webinars, and there's a lot of really great platforms out there. But eWebinar is a game changer. We're going to find out why in a moment. I wanted to introduce you to Melissa's platform. It is the leading automated webinar solution that turns any video into an interactive webinar. And it is a game changer because anything that you've recorded, be that a webinar or a podcast or just you staring at the camera and saying something very interesting and making a call to action, is now fair game to be rinsed and repeated at the leisure of the audience. But we'll unpack this. But just, there's no affiliate commissioners changing hands here. Melissa's not paying me anything to say these things. It's just one of these genuine and very rare game changers that I wanted you to hear about. So, Melissa, as I said, very warm welcome. The title today is How to Scale Your Repetitive Webinars. Tell me about that. So you can stop doing them live and yet still have them, this is a subtitle that I've added, and yet still have them incredibly engaging and well supported and actually interactive. So this is a hybrid webinar system that I've been waiting for. Excited, Melissa? Let's get cracking. Our 7 minutes is going to start as soon as I find the go button. Here it is there. Question number one, who is your ideal client?
Our ideal client is anyone who's already using webinars or long-form video in their marketing, sales, or even post-sales customer success.
Thank you for that. Question two, what's the problem you solve for them?
The problem that we solve is we save people from doing the same webinar over and over again. So you can imagine really repetitive things like sales pitches, sales demos, onboarding, training, thought leadership, or anything you want to be doing over and over again, but don't have the resource. That's a problem that we solve.
Let me give you, for instance, folks, one of our clients, the wonderful Barbara Decker, recorded a client-only support session where she was discussing problems and solutions with clients. She put in front of that an introduction to her model for working with clients, and she uses that for a webinar. So for this sort of thing, Barbara doesn't have to rinse and repeat a webinar over and over every day or every week of the year. She simply puts that on, and it's like a new client tap. So tell us about the sort of symptoms, if you like. Who's the sort of person, what's going on in the business that would be going, boy, I could really use this to help people and make some more money?
I think the first one, which is something I experienced myself, is just pure exhaustion. Just like a mind-numbing task of not wanting to do this, but no, it's still important in your business, right? It's not a low-value task, it's actually a high-value task, but you can't possibly do it so many times. But also just limitations to your business, right? Loss leads, limited revenue. Like when you tie your business to your own availability or someone else's availability, you're limiting the growth of your own business. So why would you do that, right? I would say those are the two biggest symptoms that people experience.
And I'm just becoming aware, so I haven't unpacked this for our audience. Tell us, what are the key features of eWebinar? Why is just the hybrid nature of it? Tell us about that, if you would, so people get some context.
Yeah, so the key features are, number one is it's beautifully designed. That I think is something that we do better than anyone else. We have the widest set of what we call interactions. So polls, contact forms, resources, pop-ups, things like that. That makes it a two-way engaging experience. Not a one-way consumption when you hop into a Zoom, but your attendee feels like they're participating. So not only are they excited to be there and join and watch till the end so you can deliver your CTA, you as the host are collecting all this data that you can choose what to do with later. And the one feature we have that nobody else has is a true, robust, asynchronous chat system that allows you to hop in and respond live if you're there. But if you're not, you can hop in to respond by email, which means you can truly automate those webinars and never miss a question from a prospect or customer. So it's not a fake message box, right? That goes nowhere. It's a true chat system that you see on, any support chat system.
And so, folks, to put some flesh on the bones here, we run a webinar on one day every single month, and we have multiple joint venture partners fill the webinars. And I present live, and we have one of our senior instructors man the questions window. So what I can do is we can put the video from that webinar into eWebinar. Our instructors can still be there, or I can still be there if I want to answer questions, do the pop-ups, do the quizzes on the way through, take the thermometer checks for the audience. That is very important that eWebinar provide you with. But I don't have to present the same content again and again and again. I've recorded it. It's great. Let's just replay it. And like a lot of non-live webinars, audiences, you can set it up so audiences can select the day and the time that they want to actually view the webinar. So the benefit of that is, first of all, I don't have to rinse and repeat the freaking webinar every single time. And the reason I change webinars is I get bored with them. So that doesn't have to happen anymore. But also your attendance rates are going to go up because people are selecting the time they want to be there. And it's not like an evergreen because there's someone there doing the pop-ups, doing the quizzes, doing the polls and answering your questions. This is the best of both worlds, which is why I'm excited about it. Back to the interview, and I'm going to press the pause button because I kind of chewed up a bit of time there. Let's go to question number 4. What would you say are some of the common mistakes that people make when they're trying to get into webinars and repeat them?
I would say the most common mistake, especially going from live to wanting to try automation, is you think just because it's a video, it has to be perfectly produced. Like it has to be like a movie. But the reason why people love webinars, it's because it's authentic. It's not produced. It's not scripted. When you say something wrong, you say it again, right? If people really get to know the real you behind the camera, right? In fact, when it is produced, when it is scripted, it feels less authentic and more fake. Right. It feels less trustworthy for some reason. So I would say the most common mistake is people spend way too long thinking they need to be perfect and say everything perfectly. And then in the end, they just don't do it. Because then that's another kind of exhaustion, right? Like you're trying to be perfect and then it's not. But the thing is, the only person that knows it's not perfect is you. And the longer it takes to put it out there, the longer it takes for you to get feedback to make it better.
And I'll add to another mistake, if I may, is that the people who do practice and do rehearse and do drill to the point where it's rote, it doesn't actually come across as that authentic. This way, avoid the mistake, folks. If you sneeze, you sneeze. If you accidentally scratch your nose or your ear, you've done it. It's fine. Research has shown very clearly that people are prepared to admit to a couple of mistakes or demonstrate a couple of mistakes, increase their credibility enormously in the minds of the audience. So let's go to question 5. One valuable, I'd like a top tip. What's one thing that someone could do to get started in the world of repetitive webinars for marketing purposes, do you think?
Yeah, I mean, to write off the answer of question 4, just take any recording you have, like literally any replay you have, your last one, doesn't matter if it's like last week or last month or 2 months ago, take that replay, upload it into eWebinar, set it on a schedule, and just see what happens, right? Tell people it's a replay. On the registration page, say, register for my replay. Don't say it's live webinar, right? That's the quickest way to lose credibility and trust. Tell people like this is replay, but the value of that, of using something like eWebinar is even though it's a replay, it's even more interactive and you have the chat compared to the live session that you ran. So you're preserving all those, even though it's a replay. So take anything that you have and just see what it can do for you. Because when you can see the value that it can add into your life and your business, then you'll be motivated to create dedicated resources.
Yeah, I think that's the big thing, folks, is to jump in and use what you've got and use eWebinar and get started. That's the most important thing you can do with marketing, is to do some. And the thing with eWebinar is you get so much done feedback as to what might need to change, where the audience interaction was, where it wasn't, etc. Okay. Let me move on. Question 6. We want people to find out more about eWebinar. I want them to. You want them to. They want to. Where can people go to find out more?
Yeah, so the best thing to do is go to eWebinar.com. It's exactly as it sounds, just eWebinar.com. And don't sign up right away. Join the demo, right? We've got the demo that's delivered through a product. If you enjoy the experience, because the demo is obviously delivered through eWebinar, it's a very, very meta experience. And you'll be looking at it as if you are your customer. Yeah. If you enjoy the experience, there's a 14-day free trial. Try it out. And, we'd love to hear your feedback. I'm the person that manages the chat as well. So any feedback, just type in the chat box.
Yeah, I've done that. And that's what convinced me to jump on board with the eWebinar. It's really worth having a look at how eWebinar works, I should say, from the audience perspective. Thanks for that, Melissa. Last question. We've got 20 seconds left. What's the one question I should have asked you but didn't?
Why are we doing this? That's the one question.
10 seconds.
Because we want you to work less, not more.
Oh, I love that. And it's not just about working less, I should hasten to add. It's also about getting better results from the less work that you put in. Best of both worlds. Melissa, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
Thanks for checking out our Marketing the Invisible podcast. If you like what we're doing here, please head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate us, and leave us a review. It's very much appreciated. And if you want to generate 5 fresh leads in just 5 hours, then check out www.5hourchallenge.com.